Hello and welcome to Onward in Love and Caregiving. I'm Greg Johnson. I'm the president and CEO of GJP International. And here in New York, I have the great privilege of serving as the chief advisor to the CEO of Emblem Health for family caregiving. Today is a wonderfully special day. Today, we are beginning a brand new piece to the online work that we have been doing. As you can see, I have a guest, and the guest is one of my dear, dear friends, Sheila Warnock. Sheila, welcome.
Thank you, Greg. I am delighted to be on this program with you.
Well, it's wonderful to have you. You and I have walked onto more stages and places, and you're the perfect guest for this opening broadcast where we want to truly, taking from your name, share the care. You have done so much. Sheila has been a longtime friend in the world of family caregiving. A mutual friend of ours introduced us many years ago. And as they say, the rest is history. Sheila is the author and the brilliant mind behind Share the Care. And she has just created a new website, and that's what is so exciting. But when I was thinking of persons that I might invite to be with us here at the beginning, the first name was, of course, Sheila, because Sheila has written really what many of us refer to as the Bible of family caregiving.
I co-authored it.
All right.
Acknowledge it's the work of two of us, but it's about the work of 12 women.
Beautifully put. But I'm totally prejudiced because I think of it as Sheila's book, and it's wonderful. We're thrilled to have her with us. Sheila has been very much part of all of our work at Emblem Health, starting with the New York Family Caregiver Coalition, and then she became one of the founding partners of the New York City Partnership for Family Caregiving Corps, a little army for the corporations, as together, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, we attempt to take caregiving into the corporate world so that for the employees, for the staff, for all the members, they have resources so that they can do their professional life. But we also honor the fact that for many of them, their second job as a family caregiver is far greater than their work in their corporation as far as demands and time, and certainly physical, emotionally, and spiritually. So Sheila, welcome so much to this program.
Thank you, Greg, but I also want to acknowledge you because when I started the organization, we wrote the book back in 1995. And then I lost my co-author to a brain tumor. And that's one of the reasons that I started the organization in 2003. And we got a 501c3 about a year later. But I knew absolutely nobody in a health professional world at all until I made a presentation to a group, the New York Business Group on Health. And I was sent to meet Greg Johnson. You were the key person. And I got to tell you, everybody, I walked into this room, this huge room at Emblem Health, and there was Greg with all these, healthcare professionals and nonprofit organizations. And all I did was show him the book, and he instantly got it. I didn't have to sell him on it. I didn't have to beg, steal, and borrow to get him to notice what this was. He got it instantly. And joining the New York City Family Caregiver Coalition that you were leading at the time was really the door for me to meet everybody. So I am eternally grateful for your help then and all along.
Bless your heart. Thank you so much. That is a precious memory, and we've had so many memories together. all over the United States, quite frankly. And as I travel the world, many people ask me about, do you know Sheila Warnock, Share the Care? And I say, not only do I know her, she's one of my best friends. And so it's just wonderful to be able to share this. Now, Sheila, before we begin and look at the website, and before we look at the mission statement, I want to put forward, I've been sharing this on some of my broadcasts since last Friday, that this is a program not designed to add more work for the caregiver or the care recipient. But in truth, Share the Care is the answer to the question that so many people say, let me know how I can help, and that's the last time you hear from them. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yes. Caregivers, it's the toughest job in the world, and caregivers often are thrown into the lion's den when it all starts, because it usually starts suddenly through a crisis or a diagnosis or, something coming up, and it really impacts the entire family of that person. And of course, friends come by and they say, oh, just let me know if you need anything, or call me if I can help in any way. And nothing happens. That's because the caregiver doesn't want to bother anybody. And the people who are asking have no idea what they could do or how to do it. And sometimes they're a little scared of being asked to do too much. So Share the Care can solve this problem, because it is a plan of action for a group of friends, neighbors, coworkers, acquaintances, faith community friends, whoever is in the network of the caregiver, the care recipient, and their friends, that come together. And the idea of putting a Share the Care group together is what the Share the Care book is all about. It's a step-by-step how to do this. And it takes two people to get the ball rolling, to start the group and have this very important moving first meeting where everybody involved will meet in person, or during times of COVID, they can meet on Zoom. But the meeting is very specific, it's scripted, and they don't have to figure out anything. They just have to study that part of the book. So it's a good idea to have one of those people, someone who's very good with technology and able to do, a lot of organizing online kinds of things and fill in forms, et cetera, et cetera. But the meeting is the heart of what Share the Care is all about, because you have a room full of people. If you've ever had a surprise birthday party, you know how terrifying it can be to see everyone you know in a room. It's like, oh my God, are they going to get along? But people are coming to this meeting because they've been invited by one of these two people who will ask them in a specific way if they would care to join in with a group of people to help so-and-so, their friend or neighbor or whomever. So they get to the room and they see it's not just going to be them, that there are other people involved. They're going to learn who everybody is, because everyone will introduce themselves, say how they know the family or the person, and also share what they do for a living, because sometimes we uncover talents and experiences that can be very useful for a group. Then, excuse me, the caregiver or the care recipient, usually it's the caregiver, will tell everyone what is really going on, so that there is no hearsay, no guessing, no rumors. Everybody's going to hear it, what's going on. You don't have to go into great detail, but to explain so-and-so was diagnosed with such and such, and that means, this is a long-term illness and we're going to need help all along the road, whatever. And also, ahead of time, before this meeting, the family and the two friends will have figured out what kind of help will be needed right away. And that goes on a form where everybody in the meeting will get, and they'll get to rate themselves on the jobs and say, oh, I'm really good at this, or don't call me for that. So people have an opportunity when they agree to be part of this group that they are willing to be part of the team. It's about teamwork. It's not about going off and doing your own thing. It's about teamwork, and it's about doing things where you feel comfortable, where you know your friend, you know what you can do, and you know your limitations. So this makes it very palpable for most people. Then during the rest of the meeting, there are some exercises that were given to us in our very first meeting for our friend Susan, which is where the first Share the Care group started, so that people can express themselves without being put on the spot. And they do this one exercise at the beginning and at the end of the meeting so they can realize that when they walked in the door, they had very different feelings than when they leave. They leave with a sense of, this is organized, I understand what's really happening, I see how this is going to work because these two people will explain how the Share the Care system works for rotating responsibilities. And they will leave with a sense of purpose, and they will leave with an encouragement to connect with one another because they are going to start a journey in helping someone. Share the Care is not loosey-goosey and anything goes. If you're dealing with somebody with a very serious illness or debilitating illness, the more organized it is, the better it is for everyone involved. So on that note.
That is perfect, Sheila. And the gift is how important that first meeting is. We've talked of this many, many times, but the gift to everyone is the fact that it comes out of practical experience. There is nothing that needs to be created. The words are all there. It's been tracked. It's proven to have
25 years.
Yes, it is your 25th anniversary.
Yes, Share the Care was first published in 1995 when there was nothing for caregivers. It has worked all over the US and in at least 20 other countries that we are aware of. So it's been road tested.
Well, that is fantastic. Happy anniversary, and thank you. Thank you for all that you have done for so many of us. Now, let's talk perhaps about your vision and mission.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen so I can show it to you on the website, and then I'll give you a little tour of what's on the website. In fact, everything you need is on it. But let me attempt to share my screen here.
That's all right. Just take your time.
And share. There we go.
Beautiful.
Okay. Our vision, we envision a world where caregivers can find the support they need, and those who help them can realize the impact their efforts have on their entire community. And our mission is to offer you the guidebook, tools, and educational information needed to reduce stress, depression, isolation, and the economic hardship of caregiving.
Oh, that is such a powerful mission statement.
Well, it's about bringing kindness back into the world. We've had a lot of conflict over the last, over time, but the community is where we need to start nurturing and growing more kindness. But it comes from building awareness, and being part of a Share the Care group is inspiring to other people. This is how it spread. It didn't spread through having a big budget to advertise. It spread through word of mouth by people who have used it. That's how it gets around. So let me just take you through the website.
Oh, that's now mention the website address.
sharethecare.org.
All right, we'll keep saying that. Share the Care, all small case,
.org.
.org.
I just want to mention that the official name of our organization is Share the Caregiving. We are a project of the National Center for Civic Innovation, but we are widely known as Share the Care, and that is the name of our website. So that is the way to find the book and to find us. There can be other Share the Cares around the country, but they're not orgs. They're not Share the Care org. So I'm going to show you the home page so you'll know you arrived at the right place.
That's a good idea.
And this is it. A loved one needs support. And the beginning of the site really just runs through, people are looking for help. They're suddenly in this position. Oh my God, what am I going to do? So you've come to the right place. If you've never been a caregiver, or you've been one for a very long time, or you're a patient who lives alone, or a caregiver who is struggling, or you're a health professional seeking solutions, you're a faith community looking for a plan, or you're a corporation looking for resources. And this is your guidebook.
There it is.
Your compass. And every one of us will be touched by caregiving at some point in life. So it's really a crime that nobody teaches us about caregiving when we're growing up. But I think that's one of the things we're trying to do through education, is getting more people to learn about this so that they can start using it. But it's been used throughout the full life cycle, whether it's a difficult pregnancy to quadruplets, to, grandparents raising small children, to older adults who live alone and just need some support, to all the way up through end of life. That Share the Care groups can make a difference. And our tagline is, nobody should have to go it alone. Now, this is a big group. Excuse me. I would say that groups have been from 5 people all the way up to over 100. But I'd say average is like 10, 12, 15 people. So don't be terrified when you see a massive group picture. It just means that group, that person was very lucky. They had a huge network, and that's why we all need to be building our networks. So I'm going to go now to all you need. You'll find it up in the menu at the top, all you need, and I'll go through that because I'm starting with purchasing the Share the Care book. So you don't have to go searching for it. You can go to our website and you can buy it from Simon & Schuster, Amazon, or Barnes & Noble. And I know that on Amazon, they even sell secondhand books. So this seems to be the way of the world. So anyway, if you buy it, we'd love for you to put up a, your opinion of it after you've started using it. It helps us. Then the next thing, I think before I go on with this, I want to specifically go to the people, the audiences that we help, so that you can see where you fit in. First of all, we help caregivers and their friends. And that's why some of you were invited to join in with your friend today to view this wonderful program that Greg is doing, so that you can understand that you can be the ones who maybe take the reins to help start a group for somebody you know and care about. So friends asked, what can I do to help? And this Share the Care turns their offers into action by using the step-by-step method. In fact, the beginning of the Share the Care book is written to the 2 friends who will start the group for the person. Chapters 1 through 9 are written directly to them with explicit instructions. It details how to transform and bond a group. It organizes an easy-to-follow system. There are 7 guiding principles and 23 forms. There are about 5 or 6 that are used for the first meeting, and those are color-coded, which makes it easier for that coordinator to organize the paperwork that needs to be done. And the rest of the book is about navigating the medical maze, but also about how to work together as a team. This is very important. There are how to, when something's not working, how does the team come together and how do you decide what the next decision should be, or how do you avoid conflict and help each other. Sometimes it takes more than one person to do a job. And when I remember taking Susan to the hospital, three of us would go because she was in a wheelchair. One of us had to wheel her. Someone else had to find the place in the hospital where we were supposed to go, because in New York, hospitals are quite large. Excuse me. And the third person would be, making calls or getting water or doing whatever else needed to be done, because we needed that at the time. It's also about dealing with your own emotional issues as a caregiver while you are part of the group, because they come up. You start thinking, oh my God, I'm watching my friend become more ill, but what can I do? What should I be doing? Because I'm looking at my own life and I don't have my will done. I don't have things prepared. What if something happens to me? So you begin to realize that you have to get your own act together too for your life, and start taking better care of yourself as a caregiver, because you're going to need it very much. And it transforms caregiving from sometimes very difficult experience into one that is meaningful and loving, and helps replace stress and fear with loneliness, teamwork, courage, and friendship. And the key to having a successful share the care journey is going to depend on the caregiver and the care recipient allowing others to help them. This is a huge roadblock that has always been, no matter what is going on with any system or caregiving model or whatever, is the reluctance of caregivers and care recipients to allow people to help them. But if you realize that you are giving these people a gift, because they are going to learn and gain so much by helping you in ways that they can, it's like having a gold mine, and it helps to bring a better quality of life to the person needing the care. And it helps the caregiver who's already overwhelmed. They're not going to have to ask for help every week, because the team goes to them to ask them what will be needed. And maybe that caregiver needs to go back to work or back to school, or has to support somebody else in the family that's going through some kind of crisis. And the person needing the care, like I said, can experience a much better quality of life with help from their friends who know them. And especially if an illness progresses and they're going to need more care, it's really great to have a team there. And for people who have no family or no family nearby, this is a lifesaver. And that is a really important part. And for the people in the group, they may have never been a caregiver, but they're going to learn how in the company of others. And they're going to discover new strengths within themselves and new perspectives on life that they never had before. And many of them are going to make new and lasting friendships that will go on, and also experience what a group is capable of doing. So the next group of people that share the care focuses on are the health professionals. Now, you may say, well, health professional, why do they need this? Well, they need it. They need to know about share the care so they can help their families and their patients find the support that can help them. And right now, having a nurse or a doctor or a social worker talk to them about, listen, you are burning out here. You really could use some help, and this model can make all the difference. I believe you should really take a good look at it and talk about it with the family or your friends. Our first group started back in 1988. I am not going to I'm not going to go into that story during this session, but there I will point out to you on our website a oh, it was maybe close to an hour. I'm not sure, Greg. The
Yes.
interview I did with Greg at Emblem Health, and I talk about the whole history and the whole story behind Share the Care. So you have an opportunity to look at that at your leisure. Um, there was also a study of Share the Care in 2016 that appeared in the Journal of Gerontological Social Work that supports and shows that Share the Care supports a care receiver's ability to stay at home. It helps reduce the burden on the caregiver. It increases the caregiving preparedness of group members, enabling them to be better teammates and future caregivers. It's replicable and its functionality can be applied across a variety of settings and circumstances. It ensures longevity and a successful caregiving experience through its structured system of care and has a positive impact on the caregiver, the care receiver, and every one of the individuals in their group. So I can't highlight that more. There's also a very interesting case study here about a group that cared for a woman with ALS for 6 years. She never ended up in the hospital. She had a very large group. There's a video that you can look at. But also, I want to mention that even health professionals might need a Share the Care group for themselves. I did some trainings up in Canada, and one of the nurses in Ontario learned when she went back to the office that one of her colleagues was going through a serious illness. And so she organized, because she had just come off the training, she organized 30 other professionals in the hospital to become this woman's group. It's called Pat's Group in Ontario. You can read about that. The other area that's very important, and I'm sure many of you might have a great interest in, is faith communities. Many faith communities all around the country have used Share the Care, incorporated it into their faith community, and done wonders with it over the years. So I'm just going to play a little piece of this. There's a church in Forest Hills in New York. They have 150 parishioners. 50 of them became the care crew. And that care crew was amazing because they operated a little differently than an individual Share the Care group, but rather worked as a team within the community, of the faith community, to help their parishioners as well as other people in the local community. So this is just a taste of how diverse and wonderful this group was. I'm just going to blow it up here.
We like to say that we are one of the most diverse congregations in the most diverse place in this country.
I'm Jessica Odoboro. I come from Barbados originally.
I came from Guyana. From Latin America. I'm from Colombia myself.
I feel that the diversity in this church is really what brings the people together. As Jack, our pastor, said, no one is a majority, no one is a minority. We've become a family, and when you care about your family, you are going to look out for your family, no matter what it takes.
This started after a longtime beloved pastor retired. He actually retired, and I think around the time of his retirement developed ALS. So the congregation had been deeply cared for by this pastor, and they created something in the church that helps a congregation care for its own. Share the Care is something that enables this church's ministry to reach beyond all borders and boundaries, all categories of people. It helps us to express our love in a deep way. It's something that I think every pastor has to acknowledge would be a blessing.
So you can look at the whole thing at your leisure, but it's very interesting. We have some quotes from people from different countries who were part of this church. They, of course, had to suspend their work during COVID, but hopefully it will be picking up again. There are stories here. There's one about a woman who had a daughter with ALS, so she had to share the care group. A young couple moved to their town in Texas and joined the church, and the woman had quadruplets, and they lived far, far away from their families. But this woman whose daughter was using Share the Care organized a group of grandmas and grandpas to come in and help this young couple care for their 4 babies. Greg loves this story, but it is a very wonderful story about Share the Care is not always about death, dying, and illness. It's also about something joyful like babies.
Now
So,
tell them what the name of the group was.
oh, they were known as the Diaper Darlings. And the mom was a little hesitant at first, but after she, started, feeling comfortable with everybody, she started telling other multiple birth moms about Share the Care so they might use it for their triplets or whatever. So
Marvelous.
it took on its own life. And then there are other examples of faith communities using this. And then I just want to touch on corporate caregivers, which is the brainchild of Greg when he founded the New York City Partnership for Family Caregiving Corps. And here's a little group of us. But there are several really wonderful organizations and people who are doing amazing things to help caregivers who were part of the coalition. And when the coalition became more about advocacy rather than caregiving, there were those of us who really wanted to continue, and that's why we're so grateful that Greg created this so we could go out with him and talk to corporate caregivers. And I think that people at these organizations they truly welcome the opportunity to talk about caregiving because it's often so hidden. They don't want to lose their job. They don't want, people to notice them that they're tired or, depressed or something sometimes because they don't know they're a caregiver. In fact, there was one woman who came to one of our little presentations out on Long Island.
Yes.
And there were several of us who spoke, and I'll never forget, we were just about wrapping up and this woman piped up and she said, I'm sitting next to someone I work with. I had no idea that she was a caregiver and needed help. And I'm going to help her from now on. It was like a discovery within the organization that wasn't that big.
It was the most memorable moment. I agree with you. And that woman not only said, I'm going to help you, she said, I'll do your grocery shopping. And I'll never forget that. They are still friends. I have recently seen them. But we thank Emblem Health for truly supporting this, which was very revolutionary. And it continues to grow.
Yes, and Emblem Health supported the New York City Family Caregiver Coalition.
For over 20 years.
If it hadn't been for that, I don't know what would have happened. But, I think this is if you go into the corporate section, you'll find that conversation that I had with Greg that's 34 minutes long. But I think it's really one of our best conversations. So I encourage you to look at that. Now, just quickly, I want to take you through all you need because I showed you the book. I'll show you there is a place on our website where all the forms for Share the Care, there are 23 of them, can be downloaded. I want to say that we ask people for some information about themselves for the sole purpose of learning that someone may be starting a Share the Care group somewhere, and we'd like to know, what the reason is, what's the how many people are in the group, where are you located, what's the illness or condition of the care recipient, and how many people are in the group so far if they've started. We don't ask you to pay anything. We invite donations, but this is all for free. There are also other handouts that are very important. For example, there is a 4-page comprehensive handout that includes where to begin. It's just an overview of Share the Care, the 7 principles of Share the Care that are really amazing and hold a group together over time. Important suggestions for the first weeks that a group is working together. There are things, issues that need to be resolved up front, like how do we reimburse people for any money that they put out to purchase something or buy groceries or whatever for that family. I mean, that needs to be ironed out right away so it doesn't become an issue or a problem, and it's easy to solve. We have suggestions in the book. And importantly, everybody, no matter how ill or old they are, having an emergency plan in place of what to do, where to go, who to call, and importantly, directions to your home to give to the EMS. Because people say, well, I know the city, I don't need to give directions. Why do we need directions? Because somebody from out of town might be visiting and they don't know your community. And if your home is particularly difficult to find or in a rural area, it's really important to have those directions. So that's another one. And another PDF is Finding People Who Care. So it just gives you more suggestions, which are also in the book. And I think then appearances, there are frequently asked questions that you can go through and just click over here to see the answer. Then there are also resources, other organizations, for Alzheimer's or cancer, Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, ALS. Share the Care has been used a lot for very difficult circumstances, and having a good group of people is critical. So don't do it haphazardly. Do it in a way that empowers everyone involved. So I'm just going to end, I think, Greg, with the vision mission again.
I think that would be perfect, Sheila.
And on that note, I thank you and I turn it back to Greg.
Oh, Sheila, thank you so very much for being with us. This has been such an incredible journey. Your new site is so exciting. Again, sharethecare.org. I can't urge people enough. Spend some time, enjoy it, order the book, and avail yourself of the resources. As you can see, it can be done in many, many different ways. Now, before we conclude, there's one more person we want to introduce to all of you. And Sheila and I are very grateful for our producer, whose idea this entire series has been. So, Donnie, can you appear from Jakarta? There he is. But he is Mr. Gene K. Johnson soon, so that he will definitely be part of GJP, Greg Johnson, Gene Johnson Partnerships International. Donnie, thank you. I keep saying Donnie. Thank you so, so much. This was wonderful.
Yes,
Thank you, Greg. And especially thank you, Sheila, for your time. And I think this is a perfect time because we just knew that it's the 25th anniversary of the Share the Care. And that will be a special note when we would like to inform this one to all of the audience. Well, as Greg mentioned, I'm the producer, the creative director that works on the screenplay, works on the background. So that will be my part. And that add the special notes to present your organizations and also for this special session. So once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jean. I shall get it right yet. Now, Sheila, before we leave, I just want to ask, you are available. I know you have a very busy speaking schedule, but people can contact you.
Yes.
Give us that information. And also, if you have a mailing list that people could avail themselves of.
Yes. In fact, on the top of our website, it says join for our newsletters. I don't send out thousands of them, so you won't be annoyed. I send them out maybe once a quarter. Like last year, all of our newsletters dealt with COVID and how to, make a mask, how to wash your hands, how to, the CDC directions on how to care for someone with COVID at home. So we're going to continue with our newsletters. I'm a little bit behind, a lot of things going on this year, but it's not an annoying newsletter. It's newsy. But we'd love for you to sign up and join us. If anybody has any questions about Share the Care, all they have to do is send it to info@sharethecare.org, and I will respond to you.
Wonderful.
Not a problem.
And keep us posted. I will be happy to continue to let people know when you're speaking around the country. And this has been absolutely a joy and a blessing to spend time with you today as we kick off, as it were, the 25th anniversary of Share the Care. I can't believe it. How wonderful. Bless you, bless you, bless you for all that you have done for so many people. And Jean, I'm going to get it right yet. I'm so used to calling him Donnie. Jean, I'm going to now ask for direction. I push the stop. Is that correct?
Yes, that will be the next one. But for that one, so let's say thank you once again for Sheila for her time for this broadcast, and wishing the best for Share the Care. So we are looking forward for the next success on the next 25 years.
I like that idea. And to all of you, thank you for being with us today. And as always, onward in love and caregiving.
Yes.
Namaste.
Namaste.
God bless. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.